Speak to me in a melody, because it's neighborly. It's Rhyme and Reason 683.
There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason why.
Hey there, Tony here, and as I often do, I'm going to start out with a question or two. First, I'll ask you, do you speak Psalms? That's Psalms. Do you speak Psalms? And how fluent is your hymns? Hymns. Or what about spiritualese? Do you speak that? What's that you say? Huh? You don't speak any of those languages? And you don't even believe they are languages? Well, I guess technically they're not languages, but you could speak to me in any one of them if you'd start with a melody in your heart. But you can't speak to me that way if you don't follow the law. Yeah, that's the way it works. I'm going to bring this a little bit more into focus, but first, I'd like you to get a feel for my favorite language, and that language, of course, is music, the most profound and passionately perfect language there is, with the possible exception of God's native tongue, of course, because I'm not sure how that language would go, so I'm not even sure he would consider it a language as much as it would be a communication. But, I'm digressing, I'm sidestepping, I'm going into a rabbit hole. I'm not going to do that, okay? It wouldn't surprise me, though, if God's native tongue is some form of music. That wouldn't surprise me. A little side note, as I'm talking about this, my wife is doing some of her chores in another part of the house, and she loves to listen to music while she works. And as she's listening right now, I can hear Carry On Wayward Son by the band Kansas. I love that song. It really rocks. And it's in my repertoire. I actually do that song. Okay, that was a side note. There I go again. Let me get back to the point, all right? Now, you might think a guy like me, who's always talking about grace and how you should accept it and get out from under the law, you might think I wouldn't say follow the law. But you definitely should follow the law. And the law I'm talking about is you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind. Now don't misunderstand me. I didn't say you must follow the law. I said should. It's your choice. You don't have to. But when you do, you'll see the results Jesus promised. And his promise was, do this and you will live. Do this that I just quoted. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind. Do that and you will live. And here's another addition to that, and he said that in other parts of his word in the Bible. Do this and you will live forever. Yeah, forever. That's way beyond whatever limited time we have here on good old planet Earth. Now, when you follow that law, you'll almost surely follow the next part and love your neighbor as yourself. Yeah, and your neighbor will be your brother or sister. And you'll most likely discover, without even realizing it happened, that you'll speak fluent psalms, hymns, and spiritualese, also known as spiritual songs. Just a word that I came up with it. Because those words and those languages will flow from the melody in your heart. I'm going to share this music with you, and I'll be right back.
How can I explain the numbers in the rain? I'd like to help illuminate the pathways to your mind. But I am just a man. I'll do the best I can. I'll show you where to look and I'll tell you this, it isn't behind. No, it's a firecracker and when the chime, it's a open hearts to what they can say. Oh, it's a sand pebble and a bite of glass. It's a skyscraper and a mountain pass. It's the friction of invisible wind. It's the living end. The living end. Oh, and I'm sure I can't make you believe if it's not within your will. Oh, and it's been around since Adam and Eve, and it never stood still. No, it never ever stood still. How can I extol the matters of the soul? I was never one to shake my fist and preach in the square. No, I just always knew that faith would lead me through, and there has to be a larger life than lasts forever out there. Oh, it's a firecracker and a wind chime. It's a loudspeaker and a street mine. It's the friction of invisible wind. It's everything, sand pebble and a bite of glass. It's a skyscraper and a mountain pass. It's the friction of invisible wind. It's everything, firecracker and a wind chime. It's a loudspeaker and a street mine. It's the friction of invisible wind. Tell you it's a sand pebble and a bite of glass. It's a skyscraper and a mountain pass. It's the friction of invisible wind. It's everything, firecracker and a wind chime. It's a loudspeaker and a street mine. Oh, it's the friction of invisible wind. It's the living end. 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 It's the living end. It's the living end. The living end.
All right, did you catch in the lyrics? It's a firecracker and a wind chime, and it's a loudspeaker and a street mime. It's the friction of invisible wind. It's the living end. Now, some people have asked me, what do you mean by the living end? And that used to be an expression that people would use, like it was a wow factor thing. Wow, she's the living end. And in this case, in the song, it's not the way I was using it. The living end is a metaphor, a Tony metaphor at least, for life. And life coming from the source of life, of course, your creator, my creator. And that's just the way that I was putting it into my creative way of looking at it, I guess you could say, in music. And I like to speak in music. That's my favorite way. Okay, that does it for this episode of Rhyme and Reason. I appreciate you tuning in and checking in and being with me here. And it looks like a lot more people are going to TonyFunderburk.com. I just checked, there's about 10,000 unique visitors per week now, according to stats. So that's pretty cool. That's nowhere near, famous people, but that's a lot better than zero with crickets. You know what I'm talking about? Crickets, right? My wife was talking to somebody the other day and said something about, use that expression. I said something and then I just heard crickets, and the person was saying, you heard crickets? They didn't know what I meant. Anyway, another sidestep. Sorry about that. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and it's all brought to you by TonyFunderburk.com, whereas you've always heard me, or you've heard me say a lot of times now at the end of this little show here, the Rhyme and Reason Happy Hour, which is never an hour, that you can go to the merch tab there, click on that T-shirt, and get yourself that T-shirt that says, Life has Rhyme and Reason because God made you.
There's a rhyme and reason.